Everybody, thanks for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get started with our class. Today's class is Safety First, Monitoring Job Site Safety with CompanyCam. We are going to go through some basics of our CompanyCam classes. We'll jump into our agenda and go through our features we're going over today. If you guys have any questions on what we're covering in class today, we would love if you would drop those in the Q&A section on Zoom. That way our team here will be able to go in and answer those questions. If it's something that needs to be, maybe we're having an audio issue or something like that, if you want to throw that in the chat section of Zoom, that would be great. With me today, I have Bree and Sarah on our customer success team. We've got Julia and Christian, who are part of our marketing team here. Shelby, who is helping with our video, couldn't do this without her. And then we've got Sammy on our support team in the chat. So they're going to be answering your questions there. If it's something that applies to everyone in class, they may ask that out loud and we would go over that live here today. So for our class today, we're going to be starting with the importance of safety, going over creating a project in CompanyCam, annotating your photos, using tags for safety audits, creating checklist for training. And then one of our premium features here is saving a checklist as a template for repeated use. We will go ahead and jump right in here. So on this screen here, you're going to see the web version of CompanyCam on the right side, and you're going to see the mobile app here on the left. We will be moving through the two a little bit. So we'll just be focusing on one at a time. But if you have questions on how things look in the web or mobile, feel free to throw that question in the Q&A. We're going to start out with the importance of safety. So obviously photo documentation is going to be really important, not only for your job progress, but for documenting safety measures that you're using. It's a great way to audit your team and make sure that they're following protocol that you've put in place to keep everyone safe. Make sure you're following rules for your insurance for your team. And then it makes it easy when you've got that documentation in CompanyCam to use that to train new employees. We will jump into creating a project to get started. You can create a project in the web version of CompanyCam or the mobile app. We're going to start in the mobile app today. So on the left side of my screen here, I am going to hit create a project in the top left corner here. It's going to drop a pin where I'm located. You can see we've got our demo account here with lots of projects near the office. So I've got the address down at the bottom, and I'm just going to confirm my project location here. I'm going to give it a name. And I can double check my address here. Below that, you're going to see our project templates before we finalize this. We will go into these checklist and project templates a little more at the end of our class today. But just so you know, that's where it would appear as you're creating your project in CompanyCam. I'm going to go ahead and remove that template we have set and just create a brand new project here. Right away, this is going to prompt me to take photos, upload photos, or open my project. With this, I'm going to go ahead and just take a couple of photos in our studio here so we can have some photos in our project. And now we've got photos and we're opening up that project here. When you're creating these projects with CompanyCam, you're going to be taking these photos not only for that current job you're working on, but for your team to refer back to. The nice thing with that is you can refer back to these photos to maybe see what safety measures you had in place at that job site. You can use those photos to refer back to maybe trouble areas on the job. We're going to go into searching with tags. So any areas that maybe were not up to great job site conditions, you can track that in these projects. The nice thing with the project and having your team work in that project is that your safety can start with the first person on the job. Your salesperson can go in on the job and document those potential hazards for the team while they're taking their photos to get the team started. Your project managers or office admin can document incidents related to that project in CompanyCam. They're able to go in and add any files that they need for documentation. They can look at those photos and make sure they're showing those to the team that are being sent out to the location. They'll be able to reference those photos from the sales team member, say, hey, we've got these different conditions on the job site, to make sure you're aware you have all the proper tools that you need and you're ready to go on the job to be safe and get the job done. One of the best ways to document this on a job is going to be with annotating your photos. So I just took a couple of photos while we were getting started here. And if I was on the sales team, wanted to annotate that and make notes on these, so future folks going out to that job site can see those notes. You've got a couple options here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the icon here on our screen with a 3 and that little stack of photos there. This is going to pull me to the page with all of my images. So if you've gone out, taken your initial photos, you want to make sure you mark things up so your team sees them really easily just by looking at the thumbnails. We'll go ahead and just open one of our photos here. And to annotate or mark up that photo, you're going to hit the squiggly line button in the bottom left corner. Once we've clicked that, we've opened our photo editor. So now we've got all of our edit tools along the right side of the screen here. You're able to change the color that you're drawing with to make sure it's noticeable for the team. You can use an arrow to point things out specifically for your team. You can also go in with different shapes, circles, squares, to make sure you're drawing attention to what folks really need to be seeing. You can add notes directly on these items on the photo here with your text box. You also have the option to add a description down at the bottom there, which would essentially just be notes on your photo, so your team can refer back to those down the road. This really helps if you've got a lot of information you want to put in for safety protocol, or maybe something that might not be visible when folks first look at the photo, but a description would be helpful. That can all be added down in the photo description there with the notes. So I'll go ahead and add a note here. And I'll save that. So we've got a reference here with the annotations. The nice thing with these is when we save them, they're saved directly on that image. So if I go back to my thumbnails, you can quickly see, hey, there's a note on that photo that I may need to reference. Any questions on creating projects or annotating photos so far? Okay. Next, we're going to jump into using tags for safety measures. Tags are going to be a really good way to easily search through your photos. They're also going to be a really good way for your office team to go in and they'd be able to tag photos for safety, maybe that they want to use in a safety training down the road. To add these tags to your photos, we've got a couple options here. On the photos that have already been taken, you can simply select photo to open it. You'll hit the tag icon in the bottom left corner here next to that photo edit button. And then you're going to see a list of the tags. Now, tags can be created in your CompanyCam account by your admin or managers. So if they haven't created a tag, it may not be in this list. It would be good to reach out to them to add more tags if you need them. But you have a search option at the top. I can search for safety here. We don't have that tag and I'm an admin, so I'm going to go ahead and create that tag for me here and hit save. So you can see that this now has a tag on the photo. Now, if you're someone on the sales team or maybe a project manager doing your initial walkthrough at a job site, you want to be able to tag photos so they're easily searchable of this area may not be safe for everyone. You can actually do that while you capture photos as well. So if I'm on my project here and I hit my camera button, set my phone down so it's a little easier for everybody to see. Next to our photo capture button at the bottom of the screen there in the center, we've got that same tag icon. So I could tag photos as I'm capturing them. You can see I've used this tag on the top here on this project. So I'll go ahead and select that. I can add multiple tags if I'd like to as well. So I'll go ahead and save that. You can see those floating on the screen here now. So as I capture photos, those are going to be saved for me on that photo. You always have the option to hit the tag again and change those tags, or you can make edits to them after the fact. I'll go ahead and hit done here. So these photos are saved with the tags on them. And then if your team is looking for maybe safety issues or damage on the job site before they get there, easiest way to search those tags is when you open up that project and you'll hit the icon here with the photos. Once we jump in there, you'll hit the funnel icon in the top right corner. And this is going to allow us to filter by our tags here. And then we can filter by those tags used on the project. I can hit save and it narrows it down to just those 4 photos for me. There's a lot of different opportunities to use these tags for ways that work best for your team. Best ways that we've seen used them in safety is tagging these photos as a good example of safety. If you see a really great photo of someone tied off on a roof and you want to use that in your future training when you're hiring on new folks, you can tag that as a safety example. You'd be able to search for those safety examples through all of your photos in CompanyCam. So then you can show that while you're doing your trainings. Any questions on those tags so far?
Over how you can manage your tags on the website so you can find those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go over how to manage tags on the web. I'll make this web page a little bit bigger here for us. So on our web page, if you're an admin or manager, what you would do is go to companycam.com, hit login in the top right corner. This is going to be the home page it brings you to with your project feed. You'll hit your user icon at the top of the toolbar here. And then a little over halfway down, you're going to see tags listed here. This is a really great spot if you want to create multiple tags and have them ready to go for your team. It's also where you'd be able to manage those tags. So if I wanted to create a new tag, just hit new tag in the top right, be able to type that in and add that tag. You can also go into an older tag that you may have created. So I don't need this test tag anymore. I can click into that and delete the tag. So this is a really great spot to manage all of those tags in your account. Obviously in our demo account here, we've got quite a few, but the nice thing is your team is going to be able to create these as you want to use them. When it comes to searching for those tags, very similarly to the mobile app, if we open our project here and I can see all of my photos, I want to search by those tags we had added. I can go here and narrow it down by that safety tag again. So very similar to the mobile app. If you're looking to search for those tags across all of your projects and all of your photos, like we've mentioned, if you're going to use these in training or wanting to see good examples of safety on the job site, you do always have the option to switch over to photos here in the sidebar. This photo feed is going to show you all of your photos across all of your jobs. So then I could use this to search for my tags. I can narrow this down to a specific tag I'm searching for. And now you can see those photos I just captured, but also other photos we've got captured in this account with that same tag across all of our jobs. Any other questions on tags? Awesome. If you guys have questions on tags, the nice thing with these is it never hurts to create them and start using them. You do have the option to always create more, change those tags with that tag manager on the web version here. One of the biggest things we recommend with using these safety-wise, we've seen folks use this as a way to really monitor folks using good safety on the job site. So if you've got a PM or an office manager going through your photos on a job and you want to you're looking at these photos, you want to tag things with good safety, and maybe you're setting a goal for the team, person you see most often in photos, using safety precaution and using the right tools and equipment, the way they were trained. You could use those tags to search your photos and then give the team a reward of, here's a gift card. We appreciate you guys following rules and being up to OSHA standards. It's a great way to document all of this for your team within these projects. So you're able to make sure for your safety, for your team's safety, and for insurance purposes that everyone is following guidelines that they need to be at the job site. We're going to jump into creating a checklist in CompanyCam. I am going to create this on the web. You do have the option to create these in the mobile app as well. Web's a little bit easier, and typically what we see is maybe an admin, manager, office staff creating these in the office so they're ready for the team to use when they get out to the field. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our project. Just realizing I misspelled that. Sorry, everybody. We're going to jump into our project here on the web, and I'm going to go to checklist in our menu options. So if I wanted to create a checklist for this specific job, I would go here, hit create checklist. And right now we're going to start with a new checklist. At the end here, we'll go over using templates. So I could go new checklist and give it a title here. We'll go ahead and create that. And in our checklist, you're able to add tasks or sections to divide those tasks out. So the tasks are going to be the items that we're actually checking off. So I'm going to start with a task here. And we'll start by just naming this damage to the roof. You can add any notes or instructions that you need to. So I've added a note for our team here. And now what I'm going to do is add questions so they can go through, we can get photos of these weak spots on the roof. So we have that information all documented in this project, not only for our use to show the customer, but we can also use this to make sure that folks are paying attention. They've got these to refer back to if they aren't sure of those weaker spots on the roof or areas that might not be safe for them. When they're adding questions, you have the option to add yes, no questions, a rating scale from 1 to 5, an open text box, and a multiple choice where you insert the answers there. I'll just add a couple questions here. And I'll leave an open text box. You'll notice as you're creating this task, there is a box around it. And you'll see in the top right corner, we've got this option that says photos required. If you leave this checked, the person who is completing this task will be required to take photos as part of this. This is automatically checked because photo documentation is always a great way to cover yourself and your team in these situations. So the more photos, the merrier. Next to that, you're going to see a spot to add reference images. These reference images can only be added when you create checklist in the web version of CompanyCam. This would be a great spot if you've got an example photo of damage that you're looking for, a weak spot on the roof, maybe an area that's not going to be safe for the team and they're going to need to work around it. You can add reference images here if you've got them. So this is just a simple one task checklist here we've added to our project. So as an example of how your team would use this, we're going to jump back into the mobile app. You'll see here on our project, I'm going to just refresh the page here, and we're going to open that same project. Now you see that checklist we had created is also in the mobile app. So your person out on the job site can open up that checklist. You'll see if they try to complete it, we're going to get an error message because they need to answer those questions and take the photos. So I'm going to go ahead and answer our questions here. I'll add a response. And then it also requires me to take photos. So each task is going to have its own camera icon next to it. I can go ahead and select the camera, capture more images here. I'll hit done. Now, these photos not only are going to be tied to this item on our checklist, they're also going to be included with the rest of the photos on the project. So I can go in and now check this item off. You can see who completed that and the date and time that it was completed. If I go back out to my project here, you're going to see those photos included with the other photos on our job. Jumping into a little bit more detail when it comes to these checklists. With safety specifically, you have the ability on our premium tier to create these safety checklists that you may want to standardize across all of your jobs. And then you'd be able to save that checklist as a template you can easily pull into future jobs. We've got templates here. I'll show you an example. If I'm in the mobile app and wanted to grab a safety checklist as I'm getting the job started, I can go in on my checklist page here. I'll go ahead and hit plus checklist, and then I'm going to hit use existing template. So we'll go through these in a second here, but then they'd be able to see the library of templates you've saved on premium. They can go in, see these checklists. They can pull a safety checklist if that's what they're looking for. You can have multiple checklists on a job. So I can go in here and give me just a second. We'll go ahead and find one that pertains to what we're looking at. So even maybe like a job site audit, we wanted that for safety. I can pull that in here. It's going to pull our template in for us and tie it to this specific job. And now we've got that checklist all built with 33 tasks ready for the team to start using. In order to build these templates, you're going to want to be in the web version of CompanyCam. Easiest place to do that is going to be our template manager. So if you're on premium, you're going to have access to this already. If you're currently on pro and are interested in giving this a try, reach out to your CSM or your account manager. If you don't know who that is, reach out to us at success@companycam.com. We'll get you connected to the right person. We're offering a trial of premium right now, so it'd be a great time to try this, creating those templates for your checklist for your whole team to use on all of your jobs. So to create those templates, we're going to jump down to our resources here in the sidebar and go to templates. You've got the ability to create checklist templates, report templates, documents, and then you can put all of those in a project template. We saw that at the beginning when we were creating our project. So if you do create a project template, it's going to pull in those checklist reports and documents right when you create that project. So that would be really helpful for the team, especially as you standardize processes. Make sure that you have all the checklists in there that your team might be using on the job. You're going to see we've got quite a few checklist templates saved here already. You can go in, and creating those checklist templates is going to look very similar to what we were doing when we created our normal checklist in that job. So I'm not going to create a brand new one for us here today. I can open up one that's already been created. And these are going to be saved in alphabetical order for you. So I could open up one of these templates and you can see the different sections and tasks that have been saved. These would pull directly in when you pull that template. A big thing that's really helpful on our premium tier is you also have access to community checklist. Community checklist, as an admin or manager, if you go to your user icon here, right below where we looked to manage our tags, you're going to see community checklist. So this is a library of checklists that you're going to have access to. The nice thing about these is you can save them to your library. You could use them, edit them, and then save it as your own template. So you don't always have to start from scratch. Maybe you don't know exactly what you want to get started with here. You'd be able to go in, see all of these templates, and select exactly what you need to get started. As an example here, we're going to jump into the CompanyCam created getting started templates. You'd see all the templates that we have here, and you can hit subscribe to get the whole list added to your library, or you can go in and just add those individually as you need them. These templates are going to be a little bit more in depth. We've got other companies that are building these out for you to utilize as well, as well as folks here at CompanyCam building these out to really get people kickstarted on using their checklist. Any questions on checklist? Awesome. So again, just a couple examples of ways we've seen folks using these checklists and the checklist templates for safety. We see a lot of folks use these to create a standard process across for your team. It gives your team members, new and old, easy steps to follow so they don't miss steps and they're following all safety protocol. It's also really helpful to give your maybe office staff or project managers a chance to go through and walk through those checklists, see if something was missed, see if there's something that the team needs more training on. It's a really good way to internally audit your process and make sure everyone on the team is up to speed, doing things safely, and following guidelines. That is everything we have for you today with safety protocol and using CompanyCam. There's a lot of other features we didn't go over today. Don't hesitate to play around in the app, create projects, create templates, try things out, delete them if you need to. It never hurts to kind of build them out and test things as you're working to create a good process for your whole team to use. The last thing we're going to cover today is our upcoming classes. We do have a CompanyCam class for admin and managers coming up Thursday, October 19th. And then we have an even better safety class coming up here on October 25th. That's going to be a webinar, so a little bit of a longer class there. But we're going to be doing that with Abide Safety. So a really good company that's going to give you good information on how to use CompanyCam for documentation. To sign up for any of these classes, to watch old classes that we've recorded, you can always go to companycam.com/classes to see those classes and get registered. The class we had today is going to be recorded and sent to your inbox within 24 hours. So if you want your team to see it, if you have another manager on the team, you want them to watch it, you'll have that in your inbox in about a day. Any final questions from folks in the chat? Okay. We really appreciate you guys joining us today. Have a great rest of your week.